Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Let Me Ask You This podcast. I am your host, Evie Hopworth, and I'm so grateful you're here. I start every single episode off by saying this, and I just want everyone to know this is me not being in robotic form. This is me truly, like every single episode. I am just so amazed that people are here in this corner of the internet. I am so aware that you could be anywhere and that you're choosing to listen to this conversation, and it is truly such a gift to me, and it's my prayer that this would be a gift to you and that this would shine a light so then you are able to behold Jesus in a fresh and tighter way. And so oh man, this week's episode is such a gift. I actually filmed this intro in the studio. Usually the intros are me of my face in real life, but for whatever reason, it just didn't record. And so it just shut off right before I filmed this. And so this is me. You can't see my face, but I'm here. And I'm so excited for you to listen to this conversation with my best friend, Anjel Murphy. If you have been around for a while, then you are well aware of Anjel and the joy that follows her everywhere she goes. I know Taylor Swift called Travis Kelce the human exclamation point, which was a beautiful, beautiful language. But if we're being honest, Anjel Murphy is the ultimate exclamation point. She has an ability to just see people in such a way that is so uncommon. I mean, it's truly, truly a gift. She has been one of my closest friends for nearly 15 years. And she is, tighter than family. I mean, her family is my family is her family. I mean, just when I truly say she is one of my closest friends, I mean, it's the kind of friendship that you just pray and ache that you'll have. And gosh, I feel it's like just not lost on me what a gift she is to me. And so in this episode, we unpack our friendship. She recently moved back to Boise, which is where our friendship started. She had moved away to Nashville for just under 4 years. And so it's been a gift to have her back to Boise. And we share about this, but our friendship started at church and in service, of just following Jesus and just, being a disciple of his way. And it has grown over the years in just such a beautiful way. And so when we first got married, we lived on the same street, basically across the street from each other. And now that she's moved back, we live just under 2 minutes away from each other. And so that's also a gift of just the proximity of, she comes over, watches my kids. I go over, watch her kids. It's a gift. And so anyway, this episode unpacks covenant friendship and just what God has done in our friendship. And so it is my prayer that as you listen to this, that you would just be really not only encouraged, but that you would be challenged to hunt friendships down in a way that honors the Lord and in a way that, would just bring such fruit to your life. You know, you hear all the time, like you are the 5 people you hang around the most, and there's such a truth to that. And so it is my prayer that this would make you look at your friendships, and it would make you examine, how can I show up in a way that honors the friendship and in that honors the Lord? So without further ado, here's my conversation with my best friend, Anjel Murphy. I have my bestest girl here in the podcast studio.
I don't know which camera to look at.
Look at that one. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have Anjel Murphy in the podcast studio. How do you feel?
I feel so great. I love being in here.
There's so many requests for you to come back.
I'm happy to be back. Every time I talk, every time I get on camera, every time I am actually like, you get asked to be on a podcast, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And you think it's not going to be anything different. But then you're in the studio, you're having a conversation, you're like, this is so cool.
It is so cool. Like you feel like such a big girl.
I do.
Do you feel? I do. Well, for people who don't know, who people are just now tuning in, they have never listened to any previous episode that we've ever had together, and they don't know who you are. Will you share a little bit about you?
I sure
and
will.
Maybe context to our relationship.
Yeah. Okay, so my name is Anjel. I met Evie 15 years ago, I would
crazy.
Say. Yeah, that's so
we're not old
we're a
enough
middle
to
school
say that.
friendship now. Like we're the age of a 15-year-old. We met at church, and I think we've talked about this before, but at first we didn't really connect.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't even think it was anything big. It was just like we just kind of existed around each other.
Yeah.
We were in the same small group together.
Yep.
Evie always really really convicted me. Like, with everything you said in Bible study, I was like, I'm not living that way. Like, I don't even think like that. How do I even get to that place? And so
that's hilarious.
It was really cool to kind of, for a long time, kind of be on like the outskirts of a friendship with you and just see, like, I knew that a friendship with you would require way more of me. I could feel that. And I had never felt that before.
Interesting.
So I would kind of like, every time I was around you, I would be like, you know, is this like, what I want? Like, because it's going to require more of me. It's going to require like a better version of me, because the other version that the past me was kind of operating in a lot of insecurity. Yeah. And like, that just can't thrive with you. Yeah. And I knew that. I could see that. And so we started becoming friends, and then we moved in with each other together and had so much fun. The best
19, 20 years old. We lived together in college. And we were like, you know, people listening, just that, like, when you first encounter first love, like, we both had a relationship in childhood with Jesus, but then when you grab hold of your faith on your own, and then you're surrounded by other people that are doing the same, I mean,
and it was so
and
rich.
Just worship early in the morning in that little tiny apartment condo.
Oh, it was the best time. It was so good. And like, I mean, there was also like days when we would listen to Taylor Swift and we would talk about all that. And we actually, I think we kind of did bond as girls first overall too well. Do you remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
On the way to Zach's opening for Dutch Bros. And right. I feel like that's when we really bonded, because we're like, wait, not only do we love the Lord, but we also went through crazy heartbreak that I don't think anybody would understand unless you've gone through the same thing.
We just really, I feel like the best way to say it is we grew up together in the Lord and emotionally. Okay, so that's context for our relationship. But
wait. So we lived together, then we got married, we were each other's maids of honors, then we lived on the same street.
We lived on the same street.
Which was the best.
It was the greatest gift, and it will ruin you. Yeah. Moving forward, it's really the only option now is to live within 2 minutes of each other.
Yeah, which we do again now. So then I moved to Nashville, and that was a dark season. I've talked about that a little bit on the last podcast that
I'll link it in the show notes if you want to give context to Angel. I'm going to put the other episodes that she's been on, so then you can listen to those after this.
Yeah, and so then 4 years in Nashville last year, when I recorded a podcast like a year ago.
Exactly a year
ago, probably to date.
To the date.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know. And we were out here, we were going through such a hard time, but the Lord I didn't think we'd move back to Boise, and then here we are, which is crazy. But now we live within 2 minutes of each other again, and it's so cool because it's like, okay, we were best friends when we were 20. We were best friends when we were 25. We were best friends. And just going through these different seasons of life, and now being a best friend at 33 is like, it looks so different, but it's like so beautiful.
It's my favorite yet.
It's blossomed so beautifully. And I'm like, oh, wow, how much better is this going to get as we keep on? Because we know we're not ever going to abandon the Lord or each other.
Yes.
And so just knowing that that's going to be just this like blossoming thing for the rest of our lives is such a gift.
Yeah.
And I love where we are now. As a friend, I'm so proud of you to like see you do everything you're doing and see you fight the way you fight for your family, for yourself, for your joy when you have other things that are trying to steal that daily. And so it's been an honor and a privilege to be your friend in this season. Like, and I'm so thankful to be back. Like when people ask, like, what are you most excited to be back about? Or what are you most excited about to be back home? I'm like, to be a better friend and to be here and watch my friends just soar, because you are every day. And I love watching that. So
that means so much.
So, yeah.
Well, the coolest thing is that when Angel moved home, it wasn't just Angel moving home. It was the relocating of a whole family, because since she's come home, when she went to Nashville, she went just married. And then she became a mom through the miracle of adoption, and then came home. When we say came home, came back to Boise. Boise equals home for those listening. And so it's so special because it's like you came home with this special gift that's brought a light to all of our lives. Yeah. And that's what another special thing about our friendship is our children we love each other's children in that special way. And so now, since you and Matt have been back, having Ruby here has been the greatest.
Such an amazing addition to us.
It's like, how did we go?
How did we go without her?
Oh.
But that's like what's been so great is like
finding these missing pieces. Yes. And it's like she was the Ruby we needed to shine. Like we're like, oh man. And so it's been really sweet to just all these new chapters, but that especially, I feel like
I'm so happy.
both of us in the motherhood journey.
Oh yeah.
Has been really, really sweet.
Yeah.
She's also recently a TikTok star, so you can look her up on TikTok. Thriving, alive and well on TikTok.
Except for it's such a crazy dynamic. We can talk about it in another episode. It's so weird.
It's great. It's like you have two lives in a way.
I do. I feel that sometimes.
And we'll link her TikTok so you guys can follow TikTok because she's honestly such a blast. But this conversation is surrounding friendship. Mm-hmm. And I feel like last time our conversation was all about life change and transition and just obedience. Like obedience. Yeah. And so now this conversation is surrounding friendship. And so to kick off right out of the gate, my question for you is, what have you noticed? This isn't a question on here, but I feel like this is important. With you being gone for 4 years and your 3 closest friends, or all of your closest friends were not necessarily in the same city until Lib eventually got there. But what would you say, how did friendship look different with you alone in a city versus now you're returning to a city and feeling a little bit more surrounded?
Yeah, I have been so grateful to the Lord for really like never abandoning me, because I felt so alone when I moved. And
what do you mean by that? So somebody's listening and they're like, how do you have the greatest friends in the world and how did you feel alone in a new city?
So when I moved, I honestly was like, this is going to be so great for me. Like, I'm going to get to make so many more friends.
And we all felt good about it. Mm-hmm. And we know the Lord was drawing you there.
And I have no doubt, obviously, like looking back, I have no doubt that that was supposed to happen. But
why was it so hard?
Because I went from a really rich community that I totally took for granted. And then I moved to Nashville and I thought it was just, I was going to be able to duplicate it in just in the South. And it just never once happened. Like it took me, I would say, I did make a friend on the first day, actually.
Of course you did.
But
because she lived on the same street.
No,
right?
That was 2 years later.
Oh, that's
I didn't
right.
meet her for 2 years later. Right. Yeah. So, but we worked together.
Yes,
but I kind of want
right.
to talk about that aspect of friendship too, is like just kind of like people in proximity and people for seasons and what all that looks like. So, anyways, I moved and I was just like kind of excited to get to like introduce people to me as me. Like nobody else was going to know who I was because somebody said, this is Anjel. You know, I was going to get to go forward and like introduce myself however I wanted to. And what I found was like, okay, but I really, my friends bring out such a beautiful part of me. And I took all of that for granted.
Wow.
And so then I went there and I was like, okay, Lord, well, I guess I'm just going to sit with you again because I can't connect to all these people. So I would just sit with him. And I found a really great friendship with the Lord. And that was the first time that I feel like I felt like a daughter before. And then in Nashville, I felt like I got to be his friend. I felt like he became my friend.
That's beautiful.
And my friendships all were so, it was so weird how all of my friends like that I left somehow became like better friends while I was gone.
I totally see that.
Yeah. And it was like, and I think it was because they saw me really struggle and saw me really like, I went through such a hard time. And I feel like every single one of my friends was like, but you've got this. You're going to be okay. You're going to be like, this is just who you are. It's okay that it's dark. It's okay that it's hard. It's okay. And I felt like
not spiritually bypassing the struggle.
And I was so like just having to go off people's voices. Like there were some really dark times. I mean, months where I was like, I was in the darkest place of my life and I would just remember what my friends spoke over me because all of my friends were rooted in Christ. And so our relationship was rooted in Christ. And so I just trusted that and I leaned on it. And I think for a long time, when I was here, I didn't do that because I just took it for granted. So I was like, I don't need to lean on them. I'm going to see them on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Sure.
Like we'll just be in each other's presence forever.
Tell me if I'm hearing this right. Do you feel like when you were here in a way, this isn't totally what I mean, but this is the only language I can think of. Do you feel like you were riding on like the wind of other people's faith? And
Totally.
Then when you were there, you were like, this is me and the Lord.
Yes.
And we have, I have a lot to hash out because relationships are everything to you.
Yeah.
You thrive in relationships.
I don't care about almost anything except for relationships.
Yeah. It is like the ultimate equity for you. And so, learning not to find your value in these relationships, but in this relationship and in the messiness of what was happening in your heart and just the turmoil of like what loneliness will uproot.
Yeah.
It was truly a wilderness season. Okay. I love that we kind of got a little sidetracked, but I love how you shared the difference of how you discovered friendship in a different way in Nashville and how it allowed you to appreciate friendship in this way. But then also as you move home back to Boise, seeing, okay, this is parts of friendship that I do want to take. This is other parts. Best friendship, I feel like we need to clarify. For the sake of this conversation, we're talking about best friendship, covenant friendship. We're not talking, of course, we have valuable, rich, special relationships. But we're talking about Jonathan and David friendship. Yeah. Like, you are assigned to me, I'm assigned to you. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. Like, and so we learned so much about ourselves. And that, I know for me, it was really hard having you away. Not only did we live together and then streets down, and just like, but not having you was such on my side of the map. I feel like it did reveal codependency for my heart because it was like, if I'm not laughing with these three people, then like, is it worth it? And that's not how the Lord sees it. But I just had chosen, I'm so loyal. It's hard for me to imagine to love anyone else. Like I am so extreme in that way.
I think that's something that you will ultimately be able to bring to the Lord because
I had to.
Yeah. I mean, you had to.
That was such a journey. Every single one of my friends. So for context, Angel left, and then we have a crew of 4, and so then my other 2 girls left, and so then it was the Lord saying, "Hey." Like you find and it's like, it's not, of course the Lord wants us to find joy in these rich friendships, but it was like, there was a dialect of joy and just like a source, like truly this little geyser was my source of joy. And the Lord being like, hey, there's some things here that I do want your heart to be more postured to me. And like, at the end of the day, you call it what it is. There was an idol within these friendships because it was like, this is where I go to feel fun, safe, all these, and the Lord's like, I love that this is a safe place, but it isn't the source. And so there's a lot of like purifying within my best friendships that the Lord really needed. Like, and so as hard as it was to have everybody be away, it's really special to see it as you return, being able to see it through a lens of health.
Yeah.
And even like going into the next question of like friendship from your 20s to their 30s, and then their 40s and their 50s, I don't want to limit this conversation for the sake of listeners to only 30s, but that's where we're at. And our 20s, I mean, it looks so different.
Well, we had like, it was some of the main characters that are here now weren't there in our 20s.
Totally.
So our cast has expanded. And we want that. Like we want to have multiple seasons of life where we have all these different people in it and we're celebrating because it's meant to be. That's when it's really rich, is when there's so many different people in it. And
absolutely.
But I just real fast want to go back to what we were talking about and then I'll jump in. But I felt empowered by each of my friends to continue to be where I was and not be scared of it because the Lord was going to be with me. And I felt that from each friend. And so I felt very empowered, and I have since made it my mission to empower people. Like I want to empower everyone to go to the Lord. I want to empower everyone to ask themselves the hard questions, to have the tough conversations, to figure out why they feel a certain way. Like that has become my word for the last 4 years because I didn't realize that that's like what I was missing to catapult me to a deeper relationship with the Lord. And there was a timidity to me in everything. There was kind of like a, I'll take what is in front of me, but it's like, it's such a pursuit. And I felt empowered to pursue a deeper relationship with the Lord.
I love that.
Since then, in return, he's empowered me to be a better friend. Like I feel,
you really have leveled up.
I have.
You as being a friend.
I think I just really took things for granted. That's what it was.
I feel like something I hear you say since coming home. So it's been July, August, September. So you've been home for 3 months. I feel like you have said.
I'm like, oh God, what are you going to say?
You have said so many times, and it's actually made me feel very seen every time you've said it. But you've said, I had no idea how hard motherhood was, and I'm really sorry I wasn't there for you. And you've said it like probably 4 or 5 times. And I've been so like, oh, like in my head, you were there as you knew how to be. And I never felt the absence in a certain way. But it's allowed me to say, oh, I think I think I could have had people show up differently. It's just no one did. And so I didn't know I was missing it. And so it's been really beautiful to see you and just the health of a friend. Like, I mean, you have fed us, you have done things that I'm like,
I never did that before because I took it for granted. And I was like, that doesn't need maintenance.
I didn't know you made enchiladas. We've been best friends for 15 years. I didn't know you made the best enchiladas until they just show up on my door. And I'm like, and you're feeding me in this season of a time I'm desperately needing it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then on my side, I haven't been served this way as a friend in 4 years or maybe ever, to be honest. Like, I feel like you're in this season, you've been so pursuing of like my heart and service.
Thanks.
It's
I feel like
crazy.
it's because the Lord just showed me that I could. Like, I just didn't, I wasn't deep enough to like, I just took everything. So I was so young. And I was
young
just
rascal.
like, I was a young little rascal girl. And I
Didn't know no better.
I just wasn't appreciating them.
Sure.
And like most things in my life, I need to be shown a glimpse in God's kindness. He's done this so many times in my marriage, but I need to be shown what it would look like without that person.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like, and when I was away from my friends, I was like, if I used to pray, if I'm ever home again, if I ever get the chance to be there again, I will be so much better of a friend.
Yeah.
Because I know that I need that. You need that. We all need this.
And it's not a have to, it's a get to.
Yeah, it's a privilege, and it's such an honor now. And I'm like, when people are like, "What are you most excited about to move back?" It was being a better friend.
Yeah,
I felt like I felt so healed after 4 years of walking so closely with the Lord and eliminating so much noise. You know, that was one thing. Like before, when we were here, it was like constant busyness of just like hangs and work and this and that and all this thing. And it was like, okay, but did I ever really sit down and like, you know, then the Lord really like, he healed me of so many things. And I was able to say, okay, now in this wholeness that I truly feel, and for the first time in my life, I truly feel like I'm whole.
Yeah.
I truly feel
beautiful.
like I'm able to pour out and not feel like I'm just like giving to give because I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
You know, that all kind of broke off of me, and thank God. And
being a mom, I think opens up the awareness of your need for help. And then now you're like, oh man, like what a gift. We're here filming a podcast in a studio, and that you had someone you could reach out to that would watch your daughter while we go do this. Yeah. Like you're just everything, your awareness of gratitude of like, wow, let it never be lost on me what a gift this is like on the forefront of your lens. And so you're so aware of what a treasure all of us looks like. But going back into the question of, you know, friendship from your 20s to your 30s, how would you say, like, as your own heart matures with the Lord, how do you allow that to bleed into friendship into your 30s as life obviously is always changing? Yeah.
I think that I think it's really important to let life happen, and understanding that like when life is happening, what's happening to me and what's happening to you is different. Like, but do I care about you enough in my life to sit with you in that, with whatever it looks like? And that might be seasons where we don't talk as frequently. And that might be seasons where you have, like, I've spent so much time with my friends' kids since being back. And one of my best friends, I've spent more time with her kid than her. Yeah. And I'm like, that is what this looks like in this season. Yeah. And I want that. So I'm going to show up in that way.
Pure form of love.
Yeah. And it's, you know,
I always say, love my kids, and I'll write you in my will. I don't care if you love me, but you love my kids.
I want all that money.
Because you want all my money. All my $5 I go.
Yeah, I think that being flexible in friendship and knowing that, like, okay, they're
serving the needs of each other in that season.
Yes, and it has to come from a pure place. And I think
because I love you, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
because
if you do it out of obligation, it's gonna cause
burnout, bitterness,
resentment. You're gonna be hurt all the time.
Well, when are you gonna pay me back? And
yeah. And so I think just kind of being like, okay, Lord, take me into this friendship. Give me the grace to be a friend within whatever this looks like. I value you and my other friends that I am like. There's this pocket of people right around like my innermost me that see all that. They've given me so much life. They've revealed so much. They've spoken so much life over me that I'm like, I will do anything. And if that means just, you know, taking care of their kids, that's what that means.
Yeah.
If that means like I never get to see them, but I like do their laundry, that's what that means. Like I'm not talking about you,
but we could go there. I was like, I know she's going to do it. We've both washed each other's laundry in this last 3 months to the point where we know what kind of underwear each other's husbands wears because I have my little folded clothes. And I do feel like that leveled up. Like it brought us to another.
But it was like, but it's like, what a gift to be able to do that.
Yes.
And it's like, it's not a burden. And I'm grateful to be able to do that. So,
and something I'll say that I think is worth mentioning, because even when you were far, we would always make intention of seeing each other and we would do little pockets of trips. But what's so special about friendship from your 20s to your 30s to your 40s as it ages is there are so many more things to be honest about. Mm-hmm. I think there's in your 20s, you know, just as life gets layered.
The stakes are lower when it's just you.
There are more people at your table. There are just more shadows that will creep up. And so to sit at a table as a friendship ages, as our own hearts age, as there's more stake, what I'm trying to say, and my mentor always says, honesty is a bridge to intimacy. And I've so seen that. And especially when it comes to our 4 girls, nothing is off limits. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten to the point where we can tell when someone's holding something back. I mean, we'll hold each other with a flashlight and like
tell me
a knife to the throat of like, I know you're withholding. And then it's like, okay, you're right. And it's like, that is the gift. It's not just a luxury, but it's this treasure mined out pearl of like, oh my gosh, I don't get the privilege of having secrets.
Yeah.
This woman gets to know all of the
I don't even think
questions.
A secret is a privilege. I think it's a burden.
Well, I agree. I totally agree. But I think people do translate secrets as like intimacy. I think they're like just when you can hold back certain parts of you so then you can present the best parts of you. Mm-hmm. And then there's just this mirage of, that's why I think a lot of people, there's this placebo of friendship when it's like we spend time together, our family spend time, we go on vacations, all this, but there's that lack of like, man, like, do they know the deep things that are burdening me? Do they know my needs? Do they look? Could I go to you? I know I could go to you and be like, I actually don't know how I'm going to pay this bill, and you'd say, then I'll pay it, or what? Like, do you have people that you could do that for? It's like, and so I think that a lot of people, when there's a lack of satisfaction in friendship, it's because there's shadows that they aren't willing, you know, and secrets that they're not willing, that they just don't feel like, is she going to love me still through what I'm about to share? And we've really braved that storm together.
Oh, yeah.
And so what I'm trying to say is, as you're aging, since we now find ourselves in our 30s, there's a lot more to be honest about. There's a lot more to be afraid about. Yeah. A lot more to repent for. And so as we're growing, we're able to just converse with each other in that way. And it's like, I mean...
Well, we went... So our 4 girls went to New York 2 years ago. And at that dinner, or at that trip, we had a dinner that marked all of us, where we talked about covenant friendship. And I think understanding friendship as that important, like... At first I was like, that word is, you know, isn't that for marriage? Like that, but that is what it's been. And like, I have some other friends not in that 4 group that it's like, that it is that it's a commitment to what needs to happen for us to thrive. For you to thrive.
It's in it for the long haul.
Yes.
Commitment.
And you have to be committed to it. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to do this with secrets. I can't do this with secrets.
No.
You know, and I don't even want to know what that would look like to withhold something from you, because then you're getting just such a weird, convoluted relationship and dynamic that's not even, doesn't even fit.
No.
You know?
It's fake. That's synthetic.
Yes.
And it's a whole other thing that people don't have energy to maintain.
Well, in our 30s, well, that's one thing is like as you get older, you realize like I have a very limited amount of time.
Especially as a family is involved.
Yep.
You better be just dime a dozen for me to give you my heart, my time, all the things, 100%. When did you first realize that friendship wasn't about finding someone who's the same as you, but someone who could hold your difference with tenderness? Here's what the first thing comes to mind, and this might spark a thought, so just interrupt me if a thought does spark. But for us, for our friendship, and I keep saying us 4 because we have such a special gift of us being us 4, but I'll try and keep it to us 2 since it's just us 2 in the room. Our platform and foundation in which our friendship was built off of was Jesus. That's all that mattered. Our differences, though we do happen to have a lot of similarities, huge differences.
Huge differences.
And I think learning over the years how to celebrate that for our first couple years of friendship, I thought we were really similar.
I did too.
And then as we
got
grow
older,
up,
I'm like, I don't know if we're the same.
like, and praise God for that, right? Because we're so different, and then we get to challenge each other in that. But it's like, okay, yes. So to answer the question, when did you first realize your friendship wasn't about finding someone the same as you, but someone who could hold the differences? The same that matters is Jesus. But then when you go into personality characteristics, you know, what each other values, that's where you're like, oh, like I get to experience a different facet of Jesus because of who you are. And I even said that when we prayed, like I know Jesus better and differently because of you in your life. And so what would your answer to the question be?
Well, I feel like I've kind of always seen that because of just my upbringing, where it was like, it doesn't have to look, you don't have to be the same to love people.
Yeah.
You know,
Jesus models that.
Yeah. And my whole family, my whole life has modeled that. And so I've never really I've always tried to be like, how do people compliment each other? That's like, since I was a little girl, I would want to know how people would work best with things and whatever. And I think it's been so fun over the last few years. And when I got married, I had a huge bridal party of 17 girls, and I had 3 maid of honors. And I was so like, I kind of gave everyone colors, you know, like I kind of was like, okay, red, blue, and yellow, those primary colors, like those are sometimes like those, and maybe I was white because I was the bride, I don't know, but those colors all bring something so different, and also they're also necessary, and they're also rich. And even though I will probably never be the deep shade of red that I see you as, I will never be the deep whatever that somebody else is, but they will compliment me and I can compliment them, and together we can make like art in our friendship and create
new colors.
life. Yeah. And so I feel like I will say I think you need the foundation to like have a really rich, honest, whole friendship. I feel like there has to be that same understanding of faith. Yeah. And I know people might not agree with that everywhere, but I think that kind of has to happen.
For covenant friendship, the conversation we're talking about, it is important. Because you can't understand
commitment if you don't understand the way that Jesus died for you. Like you can't understand sacrifice. You can't understand grace. You can't understand compassion and purity. You just can't if you don't know the story of Jesus. And so like I feel like that does have to be a foundation. But I mean, I have friends that are so vastly different from me, and I love that about them.
Yeah.
They make my life so rich.
And we have friends that believe different things. We have friends, yes, but for the sake of best friend covenant friendship, I know it's Eugene Peterson that says like love is long obedience in the same direction. And it's that commitment of going in the same direction. Beautiful. Yeah. And it's important of like, we value the same things. I'm going to bear my heart to someone who I know believes and has the same not even the same convictions, because we share different convictions on certain things. But then that's also the challenge of getting to challenge that with each other. But the same commitment to beholding Jesus, right? And we will reflect what we behold. And so when we're looking at each other, and it's like you need people you call, and it's like, hey, there's a war on my mind right now. Angel, will you pray over me and just plead the blood, because I can't. I don't have emotional energy. Like, and that's so important in the conversation of covenant friendship, of being committed to the same place, the long obedience in the same direction. It's like, I think another part of this that's really important saying is when a certain friendship, a lot of people listening and they're like, I know that this friend loves Jesus, but we're in different places in our relationship with Jesus. What would you say to that person?
I would say, well, invite them to be deeper with Jesus. I mean, that's exactly what you did for me. I mean, I was reading my Bible this morning, the Bible that you gave me 14 years ago. And it says...
That's so cute.
I know, it's so cute.
Is it the journal Bible?
It's the journal Bible. And it on the front of it, because I really wanted
Did I write a message in there?
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Yeah, and it said, I pray that your new understandings of Jesus feel like a sunrise. And
I wrote that.
You did, but you spelled the word wrong, and so
of course I did.
But I remember thinking like I had never had a friend give me a Bible before.
Oh, wow.
And so you like invited me into that, you know, and then I was like, oh, so you called me into that place. And like if you have a friend, I definitely am not saying like convert.
No,
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But you like, it's our responsibility and it's our joy to show Jesus, to introduce people to Jesus, because he brings so much healing and freedom. If somebody's in like a different season with the Lord, like you don't have to, you can just say like, I love you, like speak life over them and let them know that you love them. Like when I was in Nashville in that wilderness season, a totally different one than before, like you called me to like a higher place and you asked me to bring it to Jesus and you asked me to bring the things that I was struggling with to him. And like, that's exactly what we need to do for people.
Yeah. I feel like I see a lot of friendships where they're like, oh, they've gotten lukewarm. And then they just ditch these rich friendships that you feel like God assigned you. Like, it's like,
and that's the thing is it feels like an assignment.
It does feel like an assignment. And it's like, dude, you're not going to
stay up late and listen to them cry about this because it doesn't match with what you are going through.
100%.
No, that's an honor and a privilege. And as a friend, I feel like God has shown me that that's one of the richest places I can be, especially as a woman. And we talked about this the other day with, like, there was a podcast with Amy Poehler. She was talking about female friendships and how a man's best friend is typically his wife or his female partner or whatever. And a woman's best friend is like, she actually has best girlfriends.
Yeah.
And like that is a privilege that we get to walk in and be for each other.
Absolutely.
So I like...
Well, and it's like even Jesus models, like he let his closest friends watch him in the garden in his hardest moment of grief. Mm-hmm. He wasn't like, give me a moment, I need some privacy and I'm going to like let you not see this and then only see the good side. Like, and so it's like, that is what friendship is this commitment to wrestling. Like, and it's like, okay, you're in a hard season where doubt is at the forefront of your mind and you actually don't even know if you believe what we've staked our whole lives on. Great. I am I'm the person that's assigned to you to love you in this, to carry you in this. Like, I just feel like we have so many lightweights when it comes to friendship these days. And I'm like, dude, I don't have time for that. Like I
don't have time for
like,
that.
Sign here when you enlisted as my
into the army of my friendship.
It's like you were given the opportunity to sit with me and like my personality, like I can go dark quick.
Me too.
We've
talked about this before, how we can cut people real quick.
Oh,
and that's so toxic. I think in over time, I've asked the Lord to really like kind of sanctify all of that, because there are relationships and there are friendships that are not healthy, and there are things,
and it's definitely worth noting that.
Yeah, 100%. And there are things like even in the church, even like
100%,
you agree with the same thing, but it's like it's not helpful.
100%.
If it's not helpful, it's hurtful.
Yes,
you know. And so it's like if you need to have like the discernment with that and take that to the Lord. But for the most part, I would say like by and large in my friendships, I'm fully committed to whatever that looks like. But I give my family, then who's after my family? It's my friends.
Yeah.
And those people are so like they've played the biggest part in my marriage and in my motherhood and all of that.
Yeah. And they've resuscitated my faith when I needed it. And it's like, and that's also the importance. It's so important who you surround yourself with. Like, you know, we talk about the parable all the time, the friends that lowered their friend into the presence of Jesus. It's like, it does matter who you surround yourself with. All of those men, they had needs too. They had bills that needed paid. I'm sure they had family members that were sick and needed healing, but they prioritized the friend that they knew needed Jesus and did everything they could, ripped a roof off, lowered it. It's important who we surround ourselves with.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's important that all of us are different, that all of us challenge each other on certain things, that we sit down and can disagree with beauty and grace. And it's like, it's changed me. All right. Another question I have is, what is one moment in our friendship that quietly marked you?
I kind of talked about this the other day when we went to lunch and had the best time ever.
We had the best time on Saturday. We got to go to lunch and it was so lovely.
I've been here for 3 months and it was the first time we hung out, just us two.
Well, because we always have kids with us. And so it was true. I mean,
we needed that. So something that I feel like has marked, and I think I will say my friendship with you leveled me up as a friend to every friend that I've met since then. And because, again, kind of back to what we were saying earlier, when I met you, I was so like, I had never seen anyone like you before. I'd never heard anybody talk the way you talked. And so there was like, I don't want to say like the former me, like who I was before that friendship would have been somebody who, well, I was insecure. And so I would have compared myself to you. And I remember thinking like what you have, what you carry is so beautiful. Like I want that. So I'm going to abandon my insecurity and just trust this because what you carried was so pure.
Yeah.
And the phrase at the time that just came out was really popular then was
joy is the thief.
Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And I remember I wrestled with that because I was like, but I've always compared myself to people. But then I had to ask myself, but I've never really had a friendship that brought me and invited me to such deep places. And that's deep in joy and deep in grief and deep in like you were inviting me into that. And I think that was Jesus, like, inviting me into that. And I wanted that. And so I had to abandon the idea of comparison with you. And I remember I was like working it up. We had lived together at the time. We were coming back from church, driving home one night. And I was like, I got to tell you something. And I don't know. I remember core memory. Like I remember driving up the hill. Yeah. And I was like, I want to be your friend and I want this friendship to be great. But I will historically I've compared myself. And
it was kind of like a vow.
It was a vow, I think. Yeah. And I didn't know it then, but like, I just told you, like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to compare myself to you. And you were like, okay. You like literally didn't even think twice about it. And I was like, no, but I'm not going to compare myself to you because I want joy. And, I want that. And
you're
so
like, beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I remember it wasn't this like huge thing. And I think that even that response marked me to be like, okay, she's in it with me.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And you were always you.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was just like, I was just going to hop right on and it was going to be this beautiful thing. And I feel like it's just been so beautiful since then. And also
that's allowed us to really champion each other purely. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, I have my 3 girls that I feel like championed me. That it's like, what's that phrase that you always say? They cheered me on so loud I didn't hear anyone else. Mm-hmm. That's how it's kind of felt.
Yeah.
And I think especially in the genesis of a lot of friendships, comparison is the first kind of like mini battle that will kind of rear its head of like, wow, she's really lovely. Am I worthy? Am I we all have those
Can I
thoughts.
be that?
Can
lovely?
I be what she needs?
Yeah.
I am even worth of her pouring it? Like, we have this egocentric experience and narrative when it comes to entering friendship. And so I remember that conversation. I don't remember feeling it. I remember where we were in the car. But I remember just thinking, okay, like there's no comparison. This is us committing to each other. We don't get the. Can I share a moment within our friendship that's spoken to me?
Yes.
I think when I wrote this question, I was like, I wonder what she's going to say. And then when I read it from imagining your voice, reading it to me, when Zach and I were dating and we were like, you and I are still like in our honeymoon phase of best friendship. Like it was like, and you two are a lot alike.
Me and Zach.
And at the beginning there was a lot of like, and you guys clashed heads.
We did not vibe.
No, and there was a lot like, you're both very alpha in your own subtle ways. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember you went out of your way, you got together, you two, and sat down and were like, how are we going to make this work so then we can love our EB well? Yeah. And I've seen you consistently commit to doing that because all of us have our quirks that's kind of tricky to love. That's just like, oh, okay, I'm committed to you. I don't love this about you, but I'm committed to you. And that to me was so healing because it was like, I love you. I prioritize you in your heart. I'm committed to you for the long haul. And so I'm going to learn how to love this man
that you love
well. Over the last 15 years, I've seen you love him well, where it's like in disagreements. And I feel like nobody loves Zach the way that my 3 girls do. And also I feel like Zach, like he is like,
yeah, we've like come such a long way. Who we are together as a couple, as best friends, as families that have joined our lives together, like who we are is just like better together.
Yeah.
And that was like a lot of maturity like that. And by the grace of God, like I got there. It wasn't just like, I think we need to be better together. Like it was just like, I think he started to show me that like, okay, this friendship is important to you. he's coming in.
Yep.
And you guys, like, if you want this, you have to try.
And it has to be honest and pure.
Yeah.
Again, back to the honesty.
And I feel like all of us were in all of our friends. We're all so, we're very pure.
Yeah.
You know, like there's not a lot of fluff. Like there's
no fluff.
There's no fluff.
Yeah.
And so it's really beautiful to just kind of like, okay, I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to pursue this friend, this whole dynamic, this whole group, this whole effort of like, my job is to like make sure that it's well taken care of. Yeah. And sometimes that's an inconvenience.
Is friendship not the perfect evidence of inconvenience? Mm-hmm. It's so inconvenient to be a good covenant friend.
Yes. And I also want to say something on that. So one thing that I learned in Nashville was I was always like, it was really hard for me to make friends, and I wondered why. But then I'd be like home by myself every night. Me and Matt were just like watching Bob Ross every Friday night and just like never going out and meeting people. And so it was like we weren't really pouring in and inconveniencing ourselves to build friendships.
Right.
And it wasn't until we started to do that friendships, we did ultimately make some like amazing friends out there. But it wasn't until we realized that, oh, we kind of have to inconvenience ourselves.
Inconvenience will it'll always be congruent with being a good friend.
Yeah.
It's literally,
it's part of the burden of it.
Yes. And then you'll see when other people inconvenience their lives to serve you, you're like, wow, what a gift. It's like, I'm thinking of the scripture in Acts, I think it's 4, or maybe it's 2, where it's like, and all of the people in the community didn't have a need because they just sold the farms, brought it to the apostles, and then they distributed. So everybody had, it's like that to me. It's like, yes, like you just do what you need to do to make sure that each other's needs are taken care of. That doesn't mean, of course, there's a limit in the sense of like, you're not going to sabotage your family. And like, there's a priority scope of layers to it. So hear what I'm saying, but it's like, yes, you go out of your way to love the people.
Yeah.
Okay. We are like already so quick on time. And so I want to like kind of shotgun questions at you. So then people feel like maybe we're answering some of their questions they had. What is one myth about friendship that you think women in their 30s and 40s need to unlearn?
Unlearn. I would say that, especially in your 30s, I mean, I haven't gotten to my 40s yet, but I'm super excited to get there.
Same.
For some reason, I'm like so excited for my 40s. I would say that friendship is going, at least in my 30s, it looks so you very rarely get those moments where you get to just laugh on the couch with your friend.
Yeah.
And that does in no way negate the richness and the beauty and the childlike joy of a friendship. Just because like you might be going through a lot more harder things, or you might be like you never get to see people because you're so busy. But it don't let that come in and set the tone for your friendship.
Yeah.
I feel like part of being a good friend is being so flexible with whatever comes into the friendship.
Okay.
And so just committing to, okay, this is our friendship, and it's okay that like we haven't seen each other in 6 months because we're missing each other.
Yeah.
That's okay. Don't let that insecurity in, because that's where it will break things up.
I agree. Yeah, that's beautifully put. I'm thinking of the person that's like, I'm in my mid 30s, and you guys are talking about this beautiful thing that you guys have cultivated over 15 years. And I don't have that. I'm a grown woman that does not have that covenant friendship. What would you say to that person?
I would say that in the same way, maybe you can't like go out and meet people because your life is really busy. There are people that you know that you can just pour into in some capacity. You can send, and this is what I started doing in Nashville. And I feel like our friendship and our group of friends got so much closer even while we were away.
I agree.
It went to new depths because we became so much more intentional, sending each other voice memos all the time, sending each other pictures. And this reminds me of this, making funny things, like having, all of a sudden you have an inside joke and you haven't seen each other in 4 years. It's
totally.
Like, it's just send and I did this in other relationships with my family, and it has made the biggest difference. Like if I think about somebody, I'm going to text them. I never did that before.
I love that. Inconvenience, intentionality.
Yeah. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly so bad at responding to texts half the time. I've thought about that, but I'm like, okay, well, what if I just send them a quick text, like thinking about you, love you, hope
such
you're
a
doing
beautiful
well,
little expression of love.
Yeah. And also, it sounds silly, but like Instagram and sending just like, this made me think of you. When I get a reel from one of my friends that I haven't seen in forever, and they're like, they give no context
This is
and they
you.
just sent
I
it.
know.
I'm walking on cloud 9 the rest of the day.
I am right
I'm like,
there with
yeah,
you.
we
That's a
haven't
love
seen each
language.
other in 20 years, but she loves me.
Yes.
Yeah. So just
That's
like,
a love language for
I
sure.
feel like just thinking, okay, who can I share something with that I could bless? Because it's going to in turn bless you, which is going to give you the motivation to keep on doing it. And it's going to build something. Mel Robbins, I don't listen to her a ton, but she said something. She like read a study. I don't even know if this was her or what, but she said that adult friendships take like 180 hours to really cultivate a strong one.
Oh, fascinating.
And when you're a kid, it's like 40 something hours.
Yeah.
And so, just like, you know, understanding that it's not going to happen.
It's going to take a lot more work.
It's going to take a lot
There's
more work.
There's a lot more variables at play.
Yeah. And it's the first step of just acknowledging that you are thinking about somebody.
100%.
So I feel like
I
things
think
can grow.
even when the person that's listening that's like, I don't have that, I don't even know where to start, I just feel so like I would tell I mean, all of our friendships we learned in service, like as we were in a place of serving is what I'm trying to say. We weren't in the military, so let that be known. I would say plugging into a local church or a local space where you can serve your community or serve people around you. It is such a bonding thing to serve alongside each other. And then understanding, like you said, it is going to take a lot more intentional effort. Yes, when you're in your teens and 20s, you're bonding over laughs, over things, you know,
because
there's
you
just,
guys have the same professor, or
again,
because you have the same easy job.
And you can, you know, trust is built as joy kind of starts to breed. And so you're like, oh, this is so great. And then when you have a lot more stresses at play, it's like, okay, when we're together, I don't want to just like bag on all the hard things in my life. I want to laugh. And so just learning, okay, let's just commit to serving. Let's commit to a place of service. And then also this one friendship might not be like my ideal bestie in my head of who I've crafted up, who I want to like, you know, challenge you, spiritual, all these things. But if that's who God has presented to you, then nurture that friendship. I think we sabotage a lot of possibility of what friendship could grow to be because it's not what we fantasized it to look like. And so it's like, oh, because it's not what I envisioned, I'm just going to ignore, or I'm not going to inconvenience, or I'm not going to like give this time of day. And it's just not fair.
Yeah.
Like
it's not fair.
Yeah. Last question, just for the sake of time. What do you need to do to keep a long distance friendship alive and intimately connected?
So
we're a little all over the place, but hopefully
it's okay.
people can bear with us.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
I think it's all under the same umbrella. I think going out of your way to just, like I said, send the voice memo.
Yeah.
Like send the text. Like I have one of my best friends I've only been long distance with, Caitlin.
Yeah.
I've only been long distance with her. We lived together for like 3 months. That was it. And then
when she was my intern.
Yeah. No, and then she moved to Idaho for a little bit. We lived together in the Lincoln House.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
But our friendship has been long distance.
I love that.
She has said, and Marco Polo.
Yeah.
I'm a big Marco Polo fan.
I am not.
Sponsor this.
Yeah.
I'm a big Marco Polo fan. She doesn't like it. But whatever you can feel your friendship, kind of like when you move away, you have to have some sort of a rhythm and a pulse to keep it moving forward.
I agree.
Whatever it is that's going to keep it moving forward, you need to commit to that.
I agree.
If you want to be a friend, if it's texting, letters, phone calls, memes, whatever, voice memos, send it. Like I'm listening to this book right now. Okay, well, I'll listen to that book too. Like,
yeah.
I've listened to so many books that she's listened to, and we've never once.
Because you have something to talk through.
Yeah.
And I love that. And we've done that too.
And
it's so fun.
It's just like that's a very simple way, but I feel like just like making the friendship, like making it obvious in your day to day.
Yeah.
Pin your long distance friends.
That's good.
Like at the top of your messages.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good one. I put reminders on my phone to pray for people.
I know. I love when your reminder goes off to pray for me.
Yeah, it is.
I love it.
Every day.
When you said that, I thought you were lying, and then I saw it go off, and I'm like, wait, now I'm convicted because I thought she was lying, but she really does pray for me.
I really do, and it's something that like I wouldn't have done that before.
Totally,
I just wouldn't have, and I would have wanted to.
Yeah,
I would have wanted to have been that person, but like, it's out of God's kindness that He's shown me that like my friendships are.
There's no substitute for them.
There's not.
Yeah, and we've both tried to substitute them with various things, and there's just, gosh, relationships are truly like the wealth of life.
And I think like when you're, in marriage, like my anniversary is tomorrow, so I'm thinking about a lot of a lot of this, but like, I really am so committed to my friendships and to my people, and there's really nothing. I mean, it would have to take like something horrific for me to be like, nope, I'm done trying. Like, it would have to, I will go as far as I can to keep that alive, because they're so rich and they've given me so much, and I've been so blessed by my friendships and what they've shown me.
I feel like we were all over the place. This could be like a whole series, because there's so many shades and dialects and types of friendships, and we're talking about covenant friendship, but then also there's so many other types of friendships that are important, necessary, crucial. We didn't get to talk about the birthday dinner thing. I feel like that's really important, because birthday dinners do reveal
a lot about you.
A lot. Yeah. And offense. It was offense. Okay. Let's do it really quick. There have been times where you and I have offended each other. How have we been able to patch up deep offense, and how have we been able to hash out some like heartbreak within each other?
I think at the end of the day, with you and with with all my close friends, I know you don't want to hurt me.
Yeah.
I know you're saying something because that's just how you're getting it out.
Yeah.
And if I'm offended, I need to ask myself why. There are things that maybe cause like are genuine grounds for offense, but really, like, you don't want to hurt me. You're not malicious. I don't have any malicious people in my
And we've
camp.
really learned how to apologize to each other.
Yeah.
Like, we both will.
Is there anything I need to say sorry for?
Publicly, I don't think so. But like, I've been like, that was wrong of me. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Like, we'll both like really fall on our sword.
And also, if we want our relationship to last, we have to be honest about when we're hurting each other,
Absolutely.
when we've been hurt by each other. And so I think we've had opportunities to do that, and God's grace has been all over our friendship. So I would say plead the blood of Jesus over every relationship that you value.
I love that.
Because that's where the enemy's going to come in and attack it. Life makes so much hard.
Yeah.
And God makes it so beautiful.
Yeah.
And Jesus makes it also beautiful. So I really do feel like you have to plead the blood over your relationship. And that sounds so dramatic, but it's true. I mean,
Dude, that's the gospel.
It's the gospel.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. Well, thank you for your time.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for your friendship. I love you so much.
I love you.
I told you everything about Anjel is just joy embodied in a human. And I hope that this conversation blessed you. As you could tell, we ran out of time, but I feel like this could be like a 6-part series on friendship. There's so much to unpack here. And so I feel like we just got started. But as always, if you have a free moment, it means the world when you take a second to rate this podcast and leave a review. Believe it or not, it helps so much. It helps these conversations find more ears. And so, gosh, it would be a gift if you took a moment to do that. But in the meantime, my prayer is that you would just abide closely in Jesus this week, and that you would behold him in a way that you haven't before. And so we will see you next week on the Let Me Ask You This podcast.